What's it like to finally be back in Kamloops, and what's it like to be dealing with the smoke out there?
Oh man, it didn't seem real at first. It was really cool driving back up here. But yeah, it was kind of eerie because it's just driving through smoke, and it's just pretty bad out there. I guess this isn't new for people in Kamloops, but used to being here in May and early June, so July it's definitely a little different, but it's great to be back.
Have you noticed any effects after practicing in it for a few hours?
Actually, it hasn't been too bad. Last night we practiced later. We started at 7, and once that sun started to go down, it really cooled off a lot, and didn't really notice the smoke too much.
This is your first real taste of life under Rick Campbell. DeVone Claybrooks was running the show last time out. What are some of the main differences you're noticing in their styles of running training camp?
It's a little bit different. Rick he's a guy who wants things run really fast and really smooth, but he's not going to run you into the ground. He's gonna give you breaks and let your legs rest and things like that. And Claybrooks was a good guy, but there's a lot of extra stuff, conditioning, running after practice, all that good stuff. And Campbell's more of a guy who that should be done during practice as you're running your plays and all that stuff. And then when you're done, you're done. And it's been good so far.
Really, that's interesting, because I think the outside perspective was it was the other way around, that things might be a bit more relaxed around DeVone.
Like I said, I liked Claybrooks, but there's definitely more conditioning, and practice was a little harder. And it's only been 2 days under Rick, so I guess the jury's still out on that. But so far, it's been really good. You just you get in, you get out, do what you need to do, and get off your feet.
Your father, Lem, is a multi-accomplished guy. He's a decorated Vietnam War veteran. He played in the NFL and one game in the CFL, and he's a doctor. He's a psychologist now. With the mental aspect of a pro sport, how has that helped you? And can you take that and kind of teach your teammates and others what you've learned from your dad from the mental side?
Oh, yeah, it's been huge. Ever since I started playing football at 12 years old, he always really drilled the mental side of the game. He knew the physical side would come. You work out, you train, you practice, you work hard, but the mental aspect is a side that a lot of people take for granted and don't focus on. And it was really good to have that in my corner and kind of have that advantage of having a professional, not just professional football player, but a professional psychologist and a guy who really knows what it takes mentally. But yeah, it's definitely something that I haven't really talked to teammates about. Not too much. Talked to a few guys here and there, but definitely something I should kind of start to bring to my teammates for sure.
Is there a specific time in your career where you're going through some kind of mental battle? Maybe you had the drops, or maybe your confidence was down, and there's a specific time where you can remember he helped you through it?
Yeah, when I got hurt in college, I hurt my knee, and it was my senior year, and I didn't know where I was going to go, what direction I was going to go, if I was going to play football anymore. And that's something that he really helped me through, just staying ready. Being prepared for the opportunity whenever it presented itself. And, it took almost 2 years for it to present itself, but, he always really harped on staying ready, being mentally ready to go, because he knew I would be physically ready to go. That's the easy part, but being mentally ready to get back into it, that's something he definitely helped me with.
What about back to football here? There's been some concern with Saskatchewan and Montreal with the injuries that happened. How much concern is there with the Lions, with the layoff and coming back and the injury potential?
There wasn't much of a concern until, that stuff happened in Sask. And, it's definitely something you think about. But, as professionals, you have to kind of understand your body and really pick up on what your body's trying to tell you. If things are sore, things are hurting, you really got to take care of them. But it was really unfortunate to see that happen in Sask, and there's a couple guys in Montreal, but it's not something you can really think about during practice. You got to go out there and you got to play. But you definitely got to take care of your body, and that's something that we're going to focus on more moving forward.
Now you went to Tulsa. Do you live there now?
I do. My wife and I bought a house a couple months ago. And
you were a history major, correct?
Yes, that's right.
So before the protests and the George Floyd death and how that brought it out into the light, did you know about the Tulsa massacre, and what kind of memorials are there in Tulsa that we might not know about?
Yeah, I learned about the Tulsa race riots actually right when I got to Tulsa and started taking history classes there. And it was a rough history, and I think something that they kind of tried to bury and forget about. And but obviously it came to light again this past year in 2020, and there's some memorials and things like that in that area of Tulsa, the Greenwood district. But in terms of in Tulsa downtown and stuff, there's not too much, and I'd like to see that change.
Bryan, I know you're an astronomy aficionado of some kind, and you actually share a birthday with Michael Neander, who's a well-known or sort of well-known German astronomer from the 1500s. Just so you know, April 3rd, both of you. Neander has a crater on the moon named after him. So if you have the honor of having any kind of geographical feature on any planet named after you, which planet would it be?
Oh, man. Well, other than Earth, Mars would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Explore Mars more and more, so that'd be pretty cool.
And what do you enjoy about it?
I've just always been, the sun goes down, you just look up at night and the stars, and, there's just so many questions out there that I've just always really enjoyed. And, it started back in middle school for me with my science teacher, and it's just always been something that's really, really intrigued me, and it's just really cool. It doesn't take much to study it. You just go out and you look up at the sky.
Yeah, I just want to know, I know you're a big fan of The Wire. I think it's the greatest TV show, one of them of all time. So for those who've never seen it, why is it such a good show?
That's a great question. I wish we had more time to talk about it. Maybe we'll have to set something up to talk more later, but
just about The Wire, yeah.
It just really goes into a lot of depth about each character and their lives and the type of people they are and why they do what they do. And it's just really, really good show.
It is. People should watch it for sure.
Definitely.
Right. Bryan, well, maybe you can make like Omar this year and be a killer on the field. We appreciate your time, man.
Take care. Hey, thanks, guys.